students. Today I am going to continue the chapter Sectors of the Indian Economy. In previous video I explained you about the importance of tertiary sector, how in India tertiary sector takes place and what are the reasons for rising the tertiary sector. Public demand for the basic services like hospital, educational institutions, postal services, police station, banks, insurance companies and also the administrative office, etc. Greater development in primary and secondary sector has induced demand for service sector growth. Due to globalization, certain new services have entered Indian market like information technology and communication technology, etc. have become important and essential. Now today I will explain you about where are most of the people employed. The primary sector is still the largest employer in the country. The share of the primary sector is diminished in the GDP of the country. But after 65 years of independence, it still employs more than 50% of the population. The main factor responsible for this is that the secondary and tertiary sector have not created enough jobs to enable a substantial number of people to migrate from agriculture to these sectors. Even though industrial output went up more than 9 times during this 40 years period, the employment in the industrial sector went up only by 3 times. In the service sector, output rose by more than 14 times. The employment in service only went up 5 times. Even today, more than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mostly in agriculture, producing only about a quarter of the GDP. Many of the workmen are underemployed or disguised unemployed. This means that more number of workers are working in an activity than actually required. Although they appear to be employed, but they are actually not fully employed. Their employment do not necessarily contribute to productivity. Now, I will give you one example. Lakshmi, a small farmer, owns about 2 hectares of unirrigated land. She is dependent only on rains and growing crops like jowar and arahar. All the 5 members of her family work in the plot throughout the year. They have nowhere else to go for work. Everyone is working, but actually their labor effort gets divided. Each one is doing some work, but no one is fully employed. This is the situation of underemployment, where people are working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. This kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployment. It is also called disguised unemployment. Now suppose a landlord, Sukharam, comes and hire one or two members of the family to work on his land. Lakshmi's family is now able to earn some extra income through wages. They do not need 5 people to look after a small plot. 2 people moving out do not affect production on their farm. 2 people may move to work in a factory. Once again, the earning of the family would increase and they would also continue to produce as much from their land. There are lakhs of farmers like Lakshmi in India. This means that even if we remove a plot of people from agricultural sector and provide them with proper work elsewhere, agriculture production will not suffer. Income of the people who take up other work would increase the amount of total family income. Now, with this example, we have seen that how Lakshmi shows the case of disguised unemployment prevailing in rural area. Disguised unemployment also occurs in urban area. There are thousands of casual workers like plumbers, painters, repair workers, odd job craftsmen, carpenters, etc., who search for daily employment in the towns and cities. They gather their tools at the local labor chalk awaiting for the customers, then may spend the whole day but earn very little. These unemployments can be solved through creation for better opportunities. What is the meaning of disguised unemployment? This kind of an unemployment is found where more persons are engaged in a task than required. The person work less than their potential and are also paid less. Now, how to create more employment? In India, considerable unemployment is found particularly in its agriculture sector. Here we can see the problems of underemployment, disguised employment, seasonal unemployment, and also complete unemployment, where people do not get job at all. What measures should be adopted to reduce unemployment and to create more employment for the people? The employment generation measures can be explained with the help of example. I will take the example of farmer Nathu. A farmer Nathu Singh, we have seen that all his family members are not employed. Now, let us see what can be done to create more employment opportunities in this case. Government or a bank can provide loans to Nathu Singh to construct a well. If he constructs the well with the help of bank loan, he can now irrigate his land and can increase his crop production. Now he can provide gainful employment to more family members on his irrigated lands. Beside this, if government constructs a dam and canals in that area, it will provide irrigation facilities to many farmers living in that area. It will generate more employment in the agriculture sector of that area. Now you have to write question and answer in your fair copy. What do you understand by disguised unemployment? Give one example each from rural and urban areas. Distinguish between open unemployment and disguised unemployment.